Welcome to Oops episodes. This is Gülşah.
This is Duygu.
And today's guest is Lauren, the woman behind the Instagram account Berlin Baby Explorer. Lauren is an international educator and American mom who has lived in Ghana, Japan, Bermuda, right?
Yes, yeah.
In different parts of the world. She has been experiencing international parenting in Berlin, and we will talk about today her perspective and her experience parenting in Berlin. Thank you very much for joining us today and accepting our invitation and accepting to share your journey.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so happy to join you.
Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit, who you are, where you come from?
When did you come to Berlin?
Yeah.
So I grew up in the suburban Boston area of Massachusetts. Pretty soon after I graduated high school, I started moving around. So I actually studied as an opera singer and went to school at a conservatory in Ohio. And I met my husband there. After graduating, we moved to New York City. Soon after that, my husband got a job opportunity in Berlin to teach at one of the international schools here. And this was in 2015. So I thought Berlin's a great place for music and artists, so I came along with him. Soon after that, also became a music educator. We stayed here for 4 years. Total, we've lived in Berlin for 8 years, but with a big gap in between. Yeah. So we were here for 4 years.
And you had kid back in that time, or
no, just single, exploring, living in Berlin and exploring Europe. As I started to explore the world of international education, we thought like, wow, we could see ourselves living in Berlin for a long time, but we wanted to also experience other parts of the world. 2019, we got a job offer together in Accra, Ghana, in West Africa. So we moved there and lived there for a year. Then it was COVID time. That kind of ended shorter than we had expected. But then we did a year in Bermuda, and we were teaching there, and then a year in Tokyo.
Really?
Yeah, so in that time, exploring these parts of the world, but always having the idea that we wanted to come back to Berlin to have a child. Yeah, in 2022, we came back, started thinking about having a child, and we've been here since. So 8 years in total.
Yeah. What made you think that like Berlin is the best spot to have a kid? Although you were traveling all around Europe and like lived in other parts
of Tokyo.
I know, another great place for parental leave. Japan is also like one of the better places to be.
I'm surprised actually.
Because a lot of benefits and support similar to the like Elton site here. There's similar time that parents get, and
that's what I heard. And Japan is very
I mean, generally like they are
parenting.
so maybe that's the reason. I mean, they are so patriarchy oriented in the business culture. So I was like.
Yeah, I think they have a declining birth rate, so there's a lot of benefit to
incentivize.
Yeah, but you chose Berlin.
Yeah, we chose Berlin. I think like because independently we love Berlin, it felt like home to us. We just were able to have such an amazing quality of life living here. As teachers, like coming from America, it's not a highly paid profession, but here we were able to have a life that was so full. We were able to travel. We just really had a wonderful balance. I don't know, like being an educator and seeing the experience that my students were having and the childhoods that they were growing up in, from like the playgrounds to the independence that they had, and just talking to parents, whether that was like through my colleagues that had kids that were experiencing the Kita system or the education system. They just seemed really happy and balanced, and it was just very family centered. So we just thought like this is the place. Yeah.
Actually, this is one of the things that I was wondering, what's your perspective on that you mentioned now, because you're an educator and you saw both systems in the US and Germany, and I mean from my experience I saw Turkey and Germany, and I found the kids' life from like early on, it's very different, like how they structure the educational system, starting from kindergarten. Kids are a lot outside and they explore, and the entire education system based on playing, because kids learn from playing. So I was wondering, what's your perspective on that compared to US, for instance? Or other part of, I mean, you saw a lot of space.
Places. I think this was a huge strength, especially within early childhood. A strength of Germany in Berlin within the Kita systems is just this child-centered, play-based learning, and that kids get to be kids for a little bit longer. It's not such an academic setting, and they really get to explore socialization, you know, starting from in the kindergarten. You know, my son is like socializing with other like 1 and 2 year olds, and they're learning about how to sit together and set the table and like clean up after themselves, which are just such valuable skills that I think we maybe rush through in America. And we're really about like getting to the academics and like learning how to read and do these academic core subjects, and hear that comes later. And I really appreciate that about the German system and the importance of like getting outside, even though it's like, as we know, like Berlin in the winter is terrible. But like,
I mean, even in the summer.
Yeah, even in the summer, we're looking at a gray sky right now.
Rainy day, yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. They're outside and they're like putting on their rain gear and they're jumping in puddles and learning about like how to dress for the weather. And I think that's really important. We just really loved that aspect of early childhood education here.
You also gave birth here, right?
Yes, yeah.
How was that experience like as a...
In Berlin or?
Yes, yep. I gave birth at St. Joseph's. So it's like just on the other side of...
Schöneberg. No, Martin Luther.
Okay.
But it's a good...
Yeah, right on the other side of Tempelhof.
Tempelhof, sorry.
I had a really positive experience. You know, of course there's like...
Yeah, I mean, both births, like from the giving birth perspective, but also like during pregnancy. Like, would like to hear more about like which parts are like surprising for you or concerning, and how you overcome, and like overall how was the experience like from pregnancy to the giving birth?
I feel like I felt a little bit overwhelmed at first, just like learning the system, learning what was offered and how to take advantage of what's offered for new parents. I don't know, I feel like there is a really strong international community that's like, there were a lot of ways to seek out information, whether it be from friends that had experienced being pregnant here, or even like these amazing WhatsApp groups that I hope that moms know about them, because they were so invaluable to just finding out like, oh, okay, where are the prenatal courses in English, and which ones did people like, who do they recommend as a Hebamme. I did a lot of research, like when we kind of knew we wanted to get pregnant. So I started doing research a little bit before and had some ideas of who I wanted to have as a midwife and a gynecologist. And I had recommendations from the hospital that I gave birth at. So aside from like the paperwork part of it, and like sometimes like, like having to register and making sure you hit those dates, that part was, aside from that, like being like, okay, making sure I had figured all of that out. The actual relationships that I built were really strong. I loved working with my Hebamme. She wasn't a Beleg Hebamme, which is like the Hebamme that can be with you during birth. But she was there for the prenatal part and the postnatal part. And I would have loved to have her at the birth, but I think having her before and after was amazing. Yeah, it was so amazing to build a relationship with her for those 9 months, to be able to like meet with her before and text her whenever I had questions, and like she came to our apartment and made sure we had everything ready before the baby came, and did acupuncture. And I feel like I really got, I feel like I had such a great experience with her. And then after the birth, like she was there the first day when we came home from the hospital. She was there. Because
probably you did you have families
no,
here
like
the
not
first day?
Not initially, no. Yeah. So like, she really was like our lifeline. And I don't know, it's such a cloudy time. Like when you come home, like I just remember being like, I can't even think about like what questions I have. And so my husband like had a list, and like he would be asking her like, what do we do here? And she was just so gentle and so kind. It was more than just like a medical relationship. It was really like she was helping us through this huge transformation of becoming parents. And so I felt really supported.
Yeah, one of my things, for instance, I had also very good experience with my Hebamme. She was very assuring, you know, like even if I didn't realize I have those questions, but she was like giving these positive feedbacks. Oh, you hold the baby very well, and that's perfect how you put it down, like, you know, like hearing this from someone that you trust, it's especially in the first days, or how you're washing the baby, you know, bathing the baby and so on. It was very assuring, and I really passed that path after coming home very peacefully.
I think it is really important to have like I don't know, the relationship that we had built before the baby came, I think was invaluable because there was already a trust.
Yeah.
Because it can be that it's just like a stranger and you're supposed to listen to them, and
in some cases
it's not as great.
How it happens, because sometimes like a pregnant woman cannot find a midwife who can also support postnatal. So sometimes you have like 2 different people also in the birth, 3 different midwives.
So I do feel like I was lucky, but I also think it's if you want that, it's maybe worth like
to check
finding somebody that can do it. Like I know it's really hard to find somebody that can do all 3, but more can do both, and I think that's worth it, especially if you don't have a huge support system, like, or family members around. It's kind of like you're giving that role to like it's like they're kind of taking over the part of like where your mother would be there to assure you, and so that was really important and helpful.
Well, okay, so you had a good, nice pregnancy experience and paperwork, but at first 8 weeks of paperwork after the baby came.
You kind of just like lump it all into that like first trimester like disaster where it's just you're feeling awful, and
it's intense.
It's very intense, the first trimester, in terms of like getting everything sorted and feeling like a little bit of pressure. It's like if you don't get it done, like, and you're not going to find somebody. But then it was kind of smooth sailing after that.
Yeah, I was lucky because Martin Luther actually offer a service that they bring the Geburtsurkunde, the birth certificate, when you're in the hospital, just in that they get it for you. So that was one good part, because we had it done immediately, because normally you have to go to the Amt and you have to register your baby and so on. So you need to do yourself that part. In my case, like, the hospital was giving this service and it was quick, and afterwards everything was quicker.
But are you saying that like you need to register yourself to hospital at the first trimester, and like you need to find
I think it was at like 12 weeks. I registered around 12 weeks, I think, at the hospital, which felt very early. Like it wasn't even showing.
Because
so that part felt kind of intense.
They usually give you appointment towards your birth date, basically. You don't see the hospital beforehand. Like they will.
So you are just like selecting your hospital based on
what? For me it was like through a text message or something. Okay. It was like, and then I had an appointment closer to the birth where you could see the hospital and. And like let them know about your birth plan and all that.
And then they go through like what you would like to have. Are you open for medication, pain management or not? So that also changes. Then once you said you don't want any pain management, so you're not taking epidural or painkillers, or maybe painkillers, I don't know, but anything. You reject it.
So
but I mean during the birth, I think I was begging for that. I mean I said yes anyway to everything, but I'm thinking like if I said no, because for a sec I thought, okay, no, I don't need the pain management, but then I was like, no, maybe I would need it. But I can't, like, I don't know if there are people had this confusion or conflict during the birth, if they said no in the beginning, how these things continue, because they, you have to give, basically you have to sign a paper saying that yes or no, I want pain management.
Birth
just
time.
always say yes.
Say to everything, and then you can either activate or not.
If you're unsure, say yes.
I was definitely in the camp of like trying, seeing like, let's see, like redheads are supposed to have like a high pain tolerance, and so I was like, maybe I do, like maybe I'll try, and I made it pretty far, but in the end I was so relieved to take the epidural. And this was very different for me. I'd never heard of this, called a walking epidural. So this is not something that they do in America. If you take the epidural, you're like paralyzed, you can't walk. And so that was like for me, I was kind of like, this is so counterintuitive to birthing. Like
you need to be on top of.
You need to be able to like move and try to get the baby out. And so that was kind of my hesitancy to doing an epidural. And then when I learned about the walking epidural, I was like, okay,
let's do it.
And it was amazing. I was enduring so much pain, and then right at the end I decided I had taken it was too much, and then oh my gosh, it was like euphoria when I got the epidural. I was so relaxed. I had also been taking the laughing gas, so I was like so relaxed. I was asking my husband, like, how are you? Are you okay?
How about you, honey?
Yeah, so that really surprised me how much I enjoyed that part, and how it was like I was just really afraid of it, and it turned out to be like the best, and I could still like birth the way that I wanted to, but without the pain. So I recommend the walking epidural.
Noted to say everything to you, especially the walking epidural.
Or at least be open,
Yeah, I had exactly the same experience. I used all the pain management. I was even talking, like they gave me laugh gas, and then I was talking through the laugh gas because I couldn't anymore handle the pain, and they told me, okay, you are 8 centimeters open already. And I was like, okay, how long will it take? They said like half an hour, could be half an hour, could be 5 hours. I was like, no, 5 hours. Give me the epidural now.
Yeah. I was also glad that I could wait until that long. I think I was 9 centimeters. And I think in the States they cut it off at like a lot sooner, the option to take the epidural. And that's how like sometimes things can stall. And so I was really happy that I could push it to as far as I could go, and then it was very quick. It was very soon after that. So yeah, I was glad to have had that time to decide.
Yeah.
Looking back to all this time, when did you feel like most supported by the system, also as an outsider, during all this process while you are getting prepared to become a mom? But also trying to understand like how to navigate within the system. Which parts like were most supportive? Also felt you outsider maybe?
Yeah, I think like what I was most nervous about was not necessarily pregnancy and birth, but it was like actually for the Elternsite. I was really not sure that I was just really afraid of this identity shift, and being somebody that moves around the world and really loves to explore. I was afraid of this time at home, and like I was afraid of being confined, and that like my life was going to change so much. And what really surprised me was that, I don't know, it actually like opened my life up so much during this time, during the parental leave, that I actually made such a strong community through staying home and like meeting other moms through these pre and postnatal yoga classes. I made a lot of friends through that. And then also there's just so many opportunities for parents on parental leave to get out of the house and go to classes that are subsidized by the health insurance or very low cost. I don't know, I just kind of built like this Monday to Friday community and schedule for myself. I'm somebody that likes to be doing something every day. So I was really afraid of just being at home. And so that part I really did not expect to be so full and so open with opportunities to connect and to share my experience. Like a lot of the classes that I took in that first year at home were just like designed to be a space for parents to share. Like, I took like 6 months of courses at Familiencelt, these PKIP courses. I don't know if you did any of these with your child. It's like a developmentally designed movement and sensory class. And so the teachers are trained in this, and they set up like little activities for your child to explore, and then they have just kind of like this round circle of sharing time where parents can share like what's happening. The kids are all the same age, so you're able to talk about like challenges that you're going through or successes, things that are working, and share.
And it's designed for international parents, like it's
well, it's designed for anybody. So the classes that I went to were in English because I'm still developing my German skills, but I know that they do them in German too. I had no idea about that, like going into it, and it was such a pleasant surprise to know that there's so much to do. Yeah, I even started my own music circle, and like through these WhatsApp groups, I just wrote in and I said, hey, I'm gonna have like a weekly circle in my apartment and we'll sing, and I had instruments and like people from Berlin would come and bring their babies, and it was just like, I don't know, such a fun and creative time to explore with my baby and meet other people that were looking to fill their time too.
Yeah. That's very nice.
Yeah. So that part was really surprising. But of course, within that, it's challenging to be in a place that's not your home country, not your home language. The language is still a challenge for me, even though I've studied German and I feel comfortable enough to have conversations, but it's still not comfortable enough to, I don't know, have the same conversation that we're having. I feel sometimes still a barrier, and just like being far from family is always a challenge. So yeah, there are many benefits, but it's still, you're away from home, and that's a challenge.
It's also one of my biggest fear, that I'm not going to be enough in the language, so it's going to be kind of a barrier for me to, because when you have kids, like you are interacting with the system, like with the teacher, the other parents, the school, his or her cognitive development in that language, hospitals, anything related to kids. Now like you are becoming more connected, interacted with the system, so somehow the language becoming one of the important tools that you have to have. So yeah, I also have this fear how it's gonna, I don't know, like how it's gonna evolve. But
no, it's a real challenge. For me, the benefits outweighed some of the challenges. But yeah, it is a challenge. But
at the same time, you have very strong international community around, right? This is what I'm hearing from your experience.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's I don't know, what's also really special to me about Berlin is that it is such a strong international community. And I don't know, when I was here before I had a child, it felt very transient. I know it is for people that have families too, but I don't know, I think like a lot of people that are choosing Berlin are choosing to stay, and so that's also been a comfort for me, that the people that I've met are kind of here for the long haul, which before I was meeting a lot of friends and then they'd move, and so that could be hard. So yeah, my community has become a little bit more solidified, which is really positive.
And you're raising Levi bilingual, so you speak English at home, he speaks German outside. So I think there are like both, again, like challenging times or hard parts of this raising a bilingual kid, but also there's magical moments. What's your experience with Levi?
So we really are excited that he is going to have this opportunity to be immersed in German, and we know like the benefits of learning a second language are so strong for children in their developing brain. So we couldn't be happier that like we get to give him this opportunity, because we don't, before coming here, we didn't speak a second language. So we're speaking to him in English at home, but he goes to a bilingual kita, so they speak German and English. And so, it's really fun to see, like, just to get a lens into like what his day's like. And you get to really see that during the Eingewöhnung phase of the kita, when they go into the kita and see like what they're doing, what they're learning. It's coming along. I wouldn't say like he's fluent in German yet, which is, I guess, he has more English input just from us. I think there are pros and cons. Like, we chose a bilingual kita because we really liked the kita, but I think going into a monolingual kita, one that's just German, I think their German gets stronger a lot faster because they're just completely immersed. So there are definitely pros and cons to choosing which one you decide. I liked the idea of having both languages too, again, for like that community aspect, and for him to also feel like a part of his identity as an English speaker, as an English mother tongue speaker, to hear that in his kita and in his community as well.
Yes, and I think it's an important aspect too, that because growing in another country rather than like the home country of the parents, it's that person actually having a different identity from the mother and father, because it's not like fully either German, but also fully not American, maybe, like if you're gonna continue live here.
Yep.
So it's gonna be a beautiful balance of both identities.
Yeah,
in a
I know
sense.
it'll be really interesting for him, I think, because I guess we're different than some families that come here where there's maybe one German parent and one parent from another country, where we're both from America. So it's interesting. He's going to be really unique in that he was born here. The culture is really from like where he was born and growing up here, not so much from
you're going to be
Berliner.
Yeah, like in our family, so I'm Turkish and my partner is German, so we speak both languages. And then they go to Kita, normally it's like only German. Of course, people speak Turkish. There are a lot of Turkish kids. There are like educators in speaking Turkish. I think they feel comfortable. They don't mind much which language they speak, Turkish or German. They just start like answering however it comes at Kita. I think that's also kind of like giving them self-confidence because people understand the second language that they use. So that's very helpful, I think.
Definitely.
So it's not bilingual, but it's still like there's a space for them at Kita that they can
it's like naturally bilingual, just like by nature.
How can you say this Turkish or German? It didn't make sense at all to them. Like they were just looking at our face and saying like German?
Yeah, no, it's so interesting because for them at this stage of development, it's all just like input. They don't know about different languages. It's just all words.
In one folder.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why it's such a great time to learn a language. It's like they just start sucking it all up.
Yeah, interesting. Definitely raising a bilingual kid.
Yeah.
You are also a teacher at a school, but at the same time, how we know you is that you are running your own Instagram account, sharing where families can go together with their kids in Berlin and around. So I would like to learn, like, how did you start this, to share this content? Like, what made you let's start with that.
Yeah, I started it towards the end of my maternity leave, and I was kind of like, oh, why didn't I start this sooner? Because then I went back to work and it became harder to continue. But I just wanted to share all of the amazing resources that I was enjoying so much. And there are a lot of family accounts on Instagram, but there weren't so many that were specific to like the baby age, like the early childhood age. And so I just thought, wow, like this is something that I have found so useful, like, and it's just been from word of mouth, like finding where to go and different classes that are offered. And so I thought, like, maybe I should start to share this. And it also just became something fun for me. I was missing a little bit towards the end of my parental leave, like a little bit of an outside purpose. Like, of course, I was really fulfilled with like caring for my son, but just having like a project that would motivate me to get out of the house and like gave me certain little deadlines. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it was born. And it's just been so fun to explore Berlin through this new lens of how can the whole family enjoy this amazing city. And, you know, I, for years, was just like loving living in Berlin and all the places that I could go independently without kids. But then once I had Levi, I just realized like, wow, like there's not many places that I can't take him here.
Yeah.
But also there are so many places that are made just for him, and it's such an amazing place to grow up. So yeah, we started, you know, exploring playgrounds and museums and, you know, the best cafes to go with your baby and different events that are put on throughout the city. And yeah, it's just been like a really fun way to experience bringing him up. And
especially like during this time, like as we are enjoying summer now, I would love to hear your top places to like spend time as a family outside in Berlin. Where should we go?
Yeah. So summer, it is my favorite time of year in Berlin. Of course, like we all wait for this time of year, and there's just such an amazing energy that comes out. And there are so many great places to explore. But yeah, if you get a hot day, like you have to get to Berlin lakes. Even better than some of the lakes, like I love the Schlachtensee and Mögelsee. But if you go to a Strandbad, these are like public beaches on a lake, but they have lots of amenities. So they have like a snack bar, they have lifeguards, that you can rent chairs. So there's two that I love to go to. So one is Strandbad Plötzensee, which is like up in the Wedding area, and the other, of course, Strandbad Wannsee. So those are two places I would really recommend going to this summer. And then, of course, just checking out all of the playgrounds that have like amazing splash pads and like water playgrounds. I know Gleistrak Park just opened a new playground that has an amazing water park. And then, of course, like it's Berlin, so there's going to be rainy days too. So just going to the incredible children's museums that are around.
Which ones specifically?
So there's so many, but Anoha is one of our favorites. It's at the Jewish Museum. It's like this full life-size Noah's Ark made from like recycled materials, so kids can like explore like life-size animals, and there's so many incredible sensory activities to do there. There's Machmit up in Prenzlauer Berg. This is in like a former church that was totally renovated and created this incredible interactive children's museum with like these huge climbing structures that go up through. There's the Labyrinth Kinder Museum that's also in Wedding. There's so many.
That's one I don't know. Labyrinth Museum.
Let's take Ari.
Anoha, they like it. Mahmit, we also liked it. It was nice, but Labyrinth Museum, I don't know. But also yesterday I was just thinking, because we have a group of friends at the moment visiting us, like 20 people, not our place, but they're all separate, and we have 8 kids. And we were in this restaurant yesterday, like squeezed in a little room, like with lower ceilings than this place. And then I was like, I remember your post about beer gardens. I was like, oh my God, we should go to beer gardens. Lauren had this post, I can check it.
But tomorrow was raining.
I know.
It was so, yesterday was raining, that's true. But for today, for instance, we were also thinking,
there's so many, but I did just post some like hidden beer gardens, but there are some beer gardens that have like a playground integrated right in, like sometimes there's a playground that's like next to the beer garden, but there are a few that I just posted about where the playground or there's sand integrated, and it just makes the experience so enjoyable for everybody. So that's mostly like what I love about Berlin, is that you don't have to go to the children's museum. Like you can bring children anywhere here, and children are welcome, and usually they're really like designed to accommodate and make the experience great for everybody.
Good. We have good list for this summer for Ari.
They prefer to be outside.
Yes. Hopefully there's good weather.
Maybe then, like, we are wrapping up with one last question that we are asking to all our guests about their oops moments. That want to share, like, what was your recent maybe oops moments that you have in your mind that we can share, like as a parent?
So I think like one of the most surprising adventures that we had was taking my son to a performance of the Carnival of the Animals. This is this like musical performance that's created for children. It's a classical music piece that like plays all the animals at a circus, and my son loves it. Like we listen to it, we have a book about it, and we're like, let's take him to this performance that's happening. It's for children. Talking about it, we head there, and like the lights dim, we're sitting down, and the performer comes out and is gonna play on the piano and is like wearing this huge wig and like a big clown nose, and my son just starts to scream. He just is like screaming so loud.
Oh, baby boy.
So this was like an oops moment of like, oh my gosh, we did not expect this.
That he's gonna scare.
That he would be so scared. We went with friends, and their kids were so into it. They were loving it. And this was just like an epic fail for us. We tried to like take him out and like go back in and like start screaming again. So it's like sometimes like you just don't know what's gonna happen. You just don't know. And so that's where it's like really nice that like most of these experiences for kids are very low cost or free, and so you don't feel like so much pressure. If it doesn't work out, you could just leave.
Exactly.
So
and you never know when you need to leave. Well, thank you very much for today.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for starting this podcast and sharing. I think it's such an amazing concept, and one that I think so many parents will really appreciate hearing, like others share their stories of being an expat and starting this journey of parenting.
Yeah, it's
really powerful.
It's empowering for all of us. So thank you for being part of it. We're gonna make sure that we will be sharing your accounts everyone can follow up and get your great recommendations.
Thank you.
This is the end of this episode. Don't forget to follow, like, also share with the people that you think get benefit of this content. See you in the next episode.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren.